10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is December 19th, and today's episode is going to get started with news of a new upgrade that's come out. This is Fornac saying, hello, node operators. Today we released version 1.11.2 of the Smartnode. It's recommended update for the node operators using Geth, Teku, Lodestar, and Nethermind that haven't updated manually to the latest versions yet, as those new client versions include some important optimizations and bug fixes. It is also an important update for ODAO nodes with new feature described below. It says here the key changes. You can go to GitHub. So for client updates, it's got two warning signs. So it says Nethermind updated to 1.24.0. This version requires less bandwidth and computer resources, up to 8% less when syncing and serving. This version is not downgradable. Once your node is upgraded to this version or synced from scratch on it, you won't be able to downgrade to lower versions. Then there's Teku update version 23.12.1. This is by default. Teku won't allow syncing from Genesis. Users should use a checkpoint sync URL when starting a new node. This was already recommended before, but now is required. And then you have Lodestar and Geth, those versions as well, with some improvements and bug fixes for Lodestar, and gas estimation and logging improvements for Geth. Now with the Smartnode changes, we also have news for the ODAO. It says ODAO nodes will start to submit price updates to the Scroll network. So that's another layer 2 now that is getting data from the ODAO for the RETH price. And it says ODAOs will continue the rewards voting process in case of the IPFS upload fails for any reason. In this case, the rewards file CID will be calculated locally. And then it says change the default Lighthouse ports to avoid port collisions. If you're using Lighthouse, make sure to check this configuration setting, and if your chosen port is being properly forwarded to your node IP or in your router. It says Smartnode will now check if all the ports selected are unique before saving the configuration. Teku now supports doppelganger protection, and users can now see information about the rescue node add-on using node status even if the execution client is offline or syncing. Thanks to patches for this contribution. This is to install it. Please follow our Smartnode upgrade guide here, and then there's a link and it says thanks everyone, reminder to opt in, and then there's the node opt-in thing. So nowadays, as we get upgrades, we also start to see these cool tweet threads. So this one's saying, the Smartnode has been updated to version 1.11.2, and then it's got the latest version information and this nice little image that you can see as well. And that's the update. So then let's go back to the Discord, because we have the bi-weekly update here as well. Then we've got a protocol update from Mav. So Mav says, as 2023 draws to a close, it's a good time to once again reflect on rule number 1 of trading: be excellent to each other. As you know, moderation here is an exceptionally light touch relative to most other communities, and while it will continue to be the case, it can be a double-edged sword. But we can all do our part by making sure we continue to act excellently and call out behavior that falls short. So there's a little bit of speculation in trading what this is kind of referring to, and nobody's really figured it out at the moment. But if we figure out what this is reference to, I'll definitely let you all know. But it's interesting that there's a little reminder to be excellent that's come out. Next, we have the bi-weekly update that we're going to have a look at in a minute. And then it says tune into the community call, and that was 5 hours ago. So this was a community call featuring Stegosaurus and a summary of the bi-weekly. So I sadly wasn't able to listen in on that call, so I don't have a summary of what Stegosaurus talked about. However, I can provide you with a summary of what was in the bi-weekly update by looking at the bi-weekly update. So it says protocol upgrade over the last 2 weeks. So our ETH supply grown by an annualized 22%. Pending active mini pool count grew an annualized growth of 7%, and node operator count increased by an annualized growth of 24%. With the smart node stack, we just talked about that already. I will go over that again. And Bloxroute relays, we'll cover that later. With R&D, it says reward spec version 8 is undergoing reviewing and testing, and that is the one that includes the update for RPIP 30, the new reward system. Houston audit reports are being finalized. Price feed for Scroll is ready. Work has started implementing RPL staking, rework RPIP 30. So I guess that's the reward tree spec as well that's going there. Then with the governance, we had around 8 of the bounties that opened. There was discussion about compensation for community members. Ramsey's Exchange posted a proposal. And then we had the IMC is seeking feedback on 3 areas, and latest pDAO report that we're going to cover as well. And then integrations, so the new incentivized RETH OS ETH pool was launched that we talked about already. Leveraged RETH vault proposal published on the Notional Governance Forum. So that's interesting. And then we had leveraged staking protocol support RETH and Arbitrum, and new protocol built on top of Balance and Aura is supporting RETH. With media, we saw a strong demand for RETH, so more than 14,000 minted in under 4 hours, and that was last week. And then we had Stakewise and Obol were on the community calls. We had Restaking Protocol launched a marketing campaign featuring RETH. We had PenPy, a protocol built on top of Pendle, created content about RETH DeFi opportunity. OKX created some content about products featuring RETH, and RPL's new exchange listing. So if you're curious about any of those stories in more detail, definitely go and check out the bi-weekly update that had lots of good information. Okay, yesterday saw the caps of LSTs raising to 500,000 ETH. Here on EigenLayer, sorry, I should say. So EigenLayer said, attention restakers, global LST caps raised to 500,000 ETH. Exciting news as 6 LSTs joined the EigenLayer ecosystem. And then they have some information here. So here are the details about the cap. Once restaked, LST ETH reaches 500,000. Global deposits from LSTs will be paused. All LSTs have a 200,000 individual cap. Deposits will start to be accepted on the LSTs unless the global cap is reached, and then native restaking remains uncapped. And then there's information about which ones are actually joining the system. So we have OS ETH, which is from Stakewise, SW ETH from Swell, OETH from Origin Protocol, ETHX from Stader Labs, Wrapped Binance ETH from Binance, and Anchor ETH from Anchor. And it says ST ETH, RETH, and CB ETH deposits are also open again. So yeah, let's have a look at what happened with that, because there was a whole lot of activity that was going on here. So as you can see, for Rocket Pool, we now have 30,000 ETH, RETH in there. With Lido, we have 200,000 ST ETH in there. With Coinbase, we have 23,800 or so. With Stakewise, we have 13,100. With Swell, we have 45,500. Origin staked Ether, 6,600. Wrapped Beacon Ether, which is the Binance, we have 1,900 or so. Anchor is 289, and Stader staked ETH is 26,755. So a couple of things that might seem interesting there is like the Swell and the Stader numbers are quite high, and that's actually like Swell has significantly overtaken RETH. One of the reasons for that is because they are incentivizing minting and deposits into EigenLayer. So people are double farming EigenLayer with Swell because they're hoping to get 2 airdrops out of one. And that's the main reason why people are doing this, is to try to farm the airdrop. So let's have a look at what Val had to say on Discord over here. So Blue AVM said, wow, there's more Stader ETH than RETH on EigenLayer, what's going on? And then Val says that basically as a proportion of the amount, Lido have 200,000 of 9.1 million, Coinbase 26,000 of 4.1 million, Binance 1,000 of 1.1 million, Rocket Pool 25,000 of 830,000, Stakewise 12,000 out of 78,000. Of course, that's gone up a lot now. And then we had Origin 4,000, out of 31,000, Anchor 279 out of 25,000, and Stader with 26,000 out of 42,000. So Val says, Swell and Stader are literally more than half locked in EigenLayer, which seems kind of crazy. So, oh yes, Swell here, 40,000 out of 59,000. So it seems like because of those two have got incentives going on and a lot of like airdrop farming opportunities, I guess, or people think that they've got opportunities there. That's why they seem to be going bigger into those tokens than they have been going into our ETH necessarily. Also, the fact that the deposit pool is full doesn't help because it's difficult to mint our ETH at peg because there's no space in the deposit pool. So that's another eventuality there as well. Okay, and then we got this from OKX saying that they're now EigenLayer is available on OKX Web3 DeFi now. By earning extra rewards, you can first stake in ETH in Lido, Swell, Rocket Pool, or Stader to get staking certificate tokens. Then stake these tokens in EigenLayer to get your rewards. Also, your staking rewards in Lido, Swell, and other form of protocols, if any, will be accumulated during the restaking process. So here it says step 1, where you can invest, and with Stader they're offering a 7.2% APR, with Swell they're offering a 6.5% APR, and with Lido they're offering a 4.06% APR. So it looks like those numbers are significantly incentivized right now. And then with Rocket Pool it's 3.59% but without any incentives, and there's a little fire logo next to those other LSTs that I guess means that they're incentivized. And then with step 2, this is where the EigenLayer part is, where they say that there's a EigenLayer STETH which has TVL of $444 million, and then there's ETHX, which is on EigenLayer, that has a TVL of $60 million, RETH $63 million, and stake Swell ETH $101 million. But then the APRs here seem more in line with like the standard APRs that we know, which is around 3.6%. STETH is a little bit higher, and Swell ETH is a little bit lower. So I'm not sure exactly what OKX are kind of offering with this service, but it seems like everyone's trying to get in on the EigenLayer bandwagon, and they seem to think that you'll be able to get some rewards there. So it seems like there's a lot of farming of the EigenLayer restaking part of their protocol at the moment. Okay, moving on, we've got this update from Vaka, who says that this is the new treasury report for the pDAO, and he says if you need an intro on how the pDAO treasury works, you can read this post. So here says this period the pDAO budget will be increased from 23% to 24.1% of the inflation following the vote to change the budget allocations. And it says this period saw the payment of 8,964 RPL and 3,675 RPL for the IMC and GMC respectively. This value is significantly higher now that our budget has been fixed, representing 50% of pDAO budget for the IMC and 20.5% for the GMC. Speaking of fixing budgets, last period saw the closing of the vote to fix RPIP 10, so we also sent 4,643 RPL and 2,985 RPL to the IMC and GMC respectively to fix their last 4 disbursements. This amount came from the pDAO reserves, and it says this period the pDAO reserve received 5,289 RPL from inflation and spent 7,628 RPL. Its balance is now 75,138 RPL, which is pretty sizable treasury. It says if you can keep up with the pDAO treasury with the following spreadsheets, and then there's links. So if you're curious about that, you can go and give that a read and delve into those numbers a little bit more. Okay, next we had news from Bloxroute. So Bloxroute is a relay that people can use through MEV Boost, and it seems like they are changing the way that their relay works now. So it says Bloxroute MEV relays to reject blocks with OFAX transactions. So that's like Tornado Cash and other sanctioned addresses. This is effective immediately. All Bloxroute relays will reject block bids if they contain OFAC transactions, and that's transactions which interact with addresses appearing on the OFAC sanctions list. We remain committed to supporting ETH decentralization and permissionless nature, while maintaining compliance with our legal jurisdiction. Ethereum is unstoppable, permissionless, and anti-fragile because it is decentralized and globally distributed and not easily affected by any single entity, even if it has the best networking tech. We look forward to seeing this have no effect except reducing our own win rate. So there was a lot of discussion and questions that came up on Twitter as well about, like, who was making this happen, why is this happening, that kind of stuff. And then on the Discord, we people in the community kind of like had a look at it a little bit more closely. So Jasper posted it, and then Snow says, we look forward to seeing this have no effect, and this is more spin than object appropriate for exaggerated comparison. Couldn't think of a good one. And then there was some other discussion as well about it. Like, so here, non-fungible Yoakum says this is basically the death of Bloxroute Max Profit, which is one of their relays that you can use, and this is as if anyone cares about censoring. And now Snow says, they're just redefining what max is. Now it's the United States government presents Bloxroute Max Profit, and there was a little bit of discussion about that. So there is a worrying trend that some of the builders are quite centralized, with a lot of building happening with just a few builders, and then with the relays as well. Like there's still an element of centralization. Through censorship, I mean, like, with the OFAC sanction lists being not being included on transactions. So as long as there's a healthy local block building solo staking community, which I don't know how many of them there will be, there is that those transactions still continue to get through, and there's still a lot of services that are completely permissionless in terms of block building as well. So it's not that it's going away just yet, but it's something that we have to fight for, and something that we have to be aware of. Okay, next we got this new website from Dopest DAO, and it says Dope Crypto Sites, and this is a collection of educational resources for all things Ethereum. So what this website is basically people went through Anthony Sassano's Daily Gwei videos, and anytime he mentions a new website or some kind of a project, people just list it. These Dopest DAO list it on this website, so you can search for different websites that you might know of, or you can also look by category. So there's things like analytics, education articles, cool tools, airdrops, Rocket Pool. So that's why I'm covering it here. So on the Rocket Pool section, we've got the RPL dashboard, which is a Dune dashboard. Then there's Zero's RPIT, and then version 2, Boodle's RPIT, Size RPIT, Marceau's RPIT, RPL price prediction tweet thread, and then there's the Rocket Pool Layer Zero bull case, with Jasper talking about that. And then there's one SAS to rule them all, why Paradigm was wrong, how our ETH will flip ST ETH, and then others as well, accelerating validated returns using Rocket Pool. This is investment thesis by Evan, and Rocket Pool Explorer, Rocket Scan as well. So Pteris' website. I'm surprised Rocket Fuel's not listed here, but that's okay. But I guess it's not really a website, but the rest of them are articles and stuff as well, but that's all right. Anyway, so here on Twitter, this was made by El Coco. It says announcement. What was that website that Sassano was talking about? And it says, meanwhile, let me just mosey over to this Dope Crypto Sites and I'll tell you. And then there's a link. So this is basically some friends and I got tired of having to constantly scour old podcast episodes for websites. So we made a list. It's mostly analytics, education, and Ethereum stuff. Sites we've learned about from the Daily Gwei. And then there's a bunch of different links. And this is places and other places. And then the great ZK Ben turned into a website. It's searchable and browsable, and we have plans of improving it and keeping it up with new sites that pop up. And then yes, I believe we've captured every dashboard Sassala's ever mentioned, which is quite ambitious. It says in the past year, prove me wrong. There's someone there that that he hasn't even seen. And it's perhaps the dopest DAO where this idea was birthed. I hope people find it as useful as I do. So if you are interested in checking out those links that Anthony Sassano talks about quite regularly, then definitely go and check out the website, because apparently all of them are there. So that's pretty cool. Okay, next we got this update from Cointelegraph, who says former LDO holder files class action lawsuit against Lido DAO for crypto losses. So this is, yeah, like, I guess it's really early days for this story, but there might, it might be something that you can keep an eye on. It says the investor claimed that 64% of Lido's LDO tokens are controlled by just a few venture capital firms, preventing ordinary investors from having any control over decisions. And then it says LDO holder initiated class action lawsuit against the governing body for liquid staking protocol Lido, according to a complaint filed in San Francisco, United States District Court on December 17th. And it says the lawsuit alleges that Lido's LDO token is an unregistered security, and that LDO decentralized autonomous organization, the DAO, is liable for plaintiffs' losses from the token's price decline. So this is a really interesting lawsuit that's definitely going to be one to keep an eye on, whether or not the DAO can be blamed because of its centralization on the price of the token. That definitely, as we get more news about that, I think that'll be a close one to keep a close eye on. And then there was people talking about it in trading as well. So Jasper Laughed saying Robot Ventures, I think it's the new Flashbots VC, and then Non-Fungible Yoakum says are suing the Lido DAO as a general partnership. And then there was some more here as well. Again, Yoakum saying it'll be interesting to see how a defense gets mounted, because if any of the VCs stand up to participate in the defense, they get tagged as part of a general partnership. But if they don't defend, it gets a default judgment, I think. So there's definitely some technicalities here that might be interesting to see how they play out. But yeah, it's interesting to see, because this is one of the things that we talked about, right? Is like that Lido has a whole bunch of different decentralizing aspects, and one of them, of course, is the big LDO holders having so much control over the protocol and decentralization theater that they kind of dance through. And I don't wish Gary Gensler's attack dogs on any protocol or anything like that, but this was something that a lot of people thought was a possibility because of the way that Lido's set up, and then people worried about the impact that it would have on Ethereum as a whole because of what how much control Lido have over the stake. And one of the huge reasons why people were saying that Lido shouldn't have this much of a stake, because they could be targeted by, I guess here's a lawsuit, but also by governmental agencies, etc. Okay, next moving on to some BTC ETF news, and it seems like these are on the verge of being approved now. So here Marty Party had a tweet saying breaking Grayscale retail facing GBTC ads are showing up all over the web in the ad panels. Look out for them and let us know if you see them. So here there's a website. On that website you can see that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is now advertising, asking people to invest in their Bitcoin trust, not in their ETF. So it looks like they're kind of pushing that. And then there's also some, like, a video here from Bitwise who released an ad saying that they're advertising their Bitcoin ETF, saying what's interesting these days, Bitcoin and Bitwise is ETFs backed by crypto specialists. So there's a whole lot of speculation that the ETFs will be approved in the second week of January, but between 8th and the 10th. But there's also some small rumblings going around that it might be as approved as early as this week, so the SEC can just clear it off their plate before the holiday break, which would be particularly interesting to see if that happens. Okay, and then finally, yeah, that was it. That was just me in trading. So yeah, that's the end of today's episode, everyone. So thanks all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. And I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.